I've been on a long grind.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're here with another episode of FS Uncut, Game Week 20. As you can see, there's a lot of people smiling today because, well, the tide is turning. Some people, fortunes are changing, but we'll see how that's going. Daniel, how are you doing today?
Look, listen, I'm absolutely delighted. I'm happy to be on the 3-point row. People that got 3 points, just wave at the camera.
Oh,
yeah.
So, man did my thing against me. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm good. I was hearing a lot about 21 and 21. It's Manny's not on the stream, but Manny, I know you're watching. Look, we're 3 points behind you. We're coming for you. We're gonna overtake you, and we're gonna challenge for the league again. But yeah, I'm good.
Perfect. Save that joke for the pod. I mean, we've got the two guys below. I think they're eager to hear what you have to say. And we're joined by our guest today, Sonny. How are you doing today?
Oh, you know how I'm doing. You already know.
The only Sonny that's happy because the Sonny that played today.
Oh.
Wow. What? Daniel's become Kano today, yeah? All right, cool.
I mean, the Flames are being stoked at the moment. We've barely kicked into this one. Koja, how are you doing? I mean, team's no longer at the top of the table, but how are you feeling today?
Nah, I'm calm, bro. I'm calm. When you don't have expectations, you live life good.
I can feel the anger. I can feel the anger behind.
No. Listen, Sonny. Listen. I've just chopped a good ball, bro. You can't anger me today, bro. But no, I'm good, man. I'm good. My anger was yesterday. Now today it's realism and truth. That's what we do. Delivering the football gospel.
Perfect. And we're joined today with a returning guest, Darren. I'll give you a second to collect your thoughts because I know you're not happy, Bunny. How are you doing today?
That's what
I mean that says a lot. That says a lot. I mean, for anyone who didn't know, Darren supports the team that shall not be named. I don't even think he wants to name the team right now. But no, Darren's a Spurs supporter.
you are setting me up. I don't even business. This is a set-up thing. They don't even care.
But we'll come back to you. Let's start at the Liverpool fans, right? Daniel, I'll start with you. Obviously, Liverpool, it hasn't been a good few weeks, or good, let's say, 2021. But today seemed to be a very good victory for Jurgen Klopp and his team, considering the amount of injuries that you have. Explain to me what's going on with Liverpool now, and whether this match and this victory today can be a springboard for Liverpool to go on a run of victories.
Today was a brilliant win. I'm not gonna lie. I was even DMing Sonny today and said let's go for the win. But when I sent that, I wasn't expecting us to beat Spurs because our away record is awful. Our form is awful. And I saw a picture with the team. I didn't see Fabinho. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, yeah, today's gonna be peak. But bro, apart from Sonny had a good chance at the start. But apart from like a few balls over the top, I thought we were comfortable. I saw the old Liverpool again, playing with pace, players actually playing risky passes, our front three dribbling. I'm delighted. I'm just delighted with 3 points. If we can go on a run, we just have to take it one game at a time. We shouldn't get too carried away because not too long ago, last stream, people were talking about can Liverpool make the top 4. Now we beat Spurs and we're 3 points behind United. So it just shows how crazy this season is. But look, 3 points, 3 goals against Spurs. Jose was chatting bears yesterday, and he goes away with 0 points. So I'm delighted.
Wow. Big talk. Sonny, coming over to you.
Yeah, no, look, like Daniel says there, yeah, we can't get carried away because we literally just said last week or the other day even, we were literally not making top 4. Now we're for the title again. So look, I don't want to get into it. But today, when I seen Fabinho out, I started to just think, is this game even worth watching? I think we could get embarrassed. But we won the game 3-1. Conceding 1 goal, Højbjerg, a great goal. I don't think we could have done too much about that. 3 goals scored, which is what we couldn't do this season or this year. So look, we're doing that now. I don't even want to talk about a title race because I was even debating it the other day, and we'll see what happens.
Wow. You know, this is the most muted I've heard Liverpool fans in a long time because usually you guys are talking it up. Back to backs, dominating over the next 5 years.
No, I can't lie, man. That United loss hurt me.
Yeah, we've been humbled. Look, we lost to Burnley, lost to United, drawn with West Brom. We can't be talking about back to back. Let's just take it one game at a time.
Wow, so
don't worry.
Basil, wasn't he the back-to-back connoisseur?
No, listen, it might still happen. All I know that's not gonna happen. 21 and 21, that's not gonna happen. And Spurs are not gonna win the league, which Darren did say a couple of the last time Liverpool played Spurs, I believe. But
It ain't
I'll
over
let
till
you.
it's over. I don't care. It ain't over till it's over. But it's severely dented. We lost 6 points against Liverpool, right? Because I actually thought we'd win this game, and then I saw the lineup and I thought, "Oh, this isn't looking wonderful." Right? I've only got really three words: annoying, abject, awful for tonight. Really, so very, very poor. And at the end of the day, like defensively, we usually look solid, but tonight, for goodness sakes, man.
But that's the thing.
terrible
Like,
was
why
that?
are you defending so much in every single game with the team you have? You have to use that more, surely.
But I don't know. I don't even know. Do you understand? I don't even know. Like, you're supposed to put it on. I wanted us to put it on Liverpool's neck tonight. Do you understand? Because you're kind of demoralized. You know, you are conceding goals. Instead, we just sit back and we can't even do that now. Like, what's gonna happen now? Do you understand? We can't even sit back and defend because Mane was getting behind the wheel. Firmino, we always make him Firmino look like, I don't know, flipping prime Ronaldo, prime R9, anytime he comes and plays us.
I'm telling you, man, if you're sitting back, you should not have Eric Dyer there. That's all I'm saying. If you're trying to sit back, Eric Dyer's not the one.
Thank you very much.
didn't even have
Eric was, do you know what? I've been trying to give him the benefit of the doubt this season. But tonight, for goodness sake, wow. The basics, he wasn't doing the basics at all, man. I mean, I know Joe Roden had made a big mistake for the third goal. But generally, he was okay. But Eric Dyer was terrible from minute 1 to minute 90. It was really, really poor. And to be honest with you, everybody was terrible from Lloris right down. Ori was at Imane getting behind. Doherty is just painfully average, right? I mean, Ben Davis. It was terrible. It was terrible. Even if Kane we would have lost that game. I'm telling you, we would have lost.
Darren, quick question for you. Do you need me to call your Spurs counselor?
Say that again?
Do you need me to call your Spurs counselor? Because it seems like there's a lot of pain in everything you're saying right now.
Wow. Hey,
is this what we're gonna do tonight, Basil? Is this what we're gonna do?
I'm only asking.
Just for context, this guy abandoned his club 2 weeks ago to go and join West Brom. The shame that you are having.
Basil.
Thank you.
Basil.
Yeah.
Say it's for Arsenal are 3 points behind Spurs.
Here we are. We are.
Hey, Daniel's a bad guy.
Yeah, you won't finish above us. But Basil, you know, I know where you're at. You know, I can fold you anytime I'm ready to do it. So just leave me alone today. Leave me alone today, innit? Yeah? Leave me alone today. You ain't so much to me.
I'll come back to you, Darren. Coach, a question. So I was watching the game. Kane came off injured. And obviously they brought a Brazilian on loan, another striker as cover for Kane. He isn't being used. Gareth Bale rarely being used. Lucas Moura rotting on the bench. It doesn't seem like Mourinho trusts the entire Tottenham squad. Do you think Mourinho needs to change his ways and trust the squad more, or do you just think, you know, maybe it's like they're just not good enough? Like, what do you think the issues are with Mourinho and the players like at Tottenham? That he doesn't seem to trust certain people.
I would say this. Firstly, I think the reason why he defends so deep is because he cannot trust his defenders. Alderweireld is pretty much towards the end of his best years. And Hugo Lloris has not been the same goalkeeper for the last, ever since they won the World Cup through France. He ain't been the same. And then when you're talking about the rest of the players, I mean, you mentioned Lucas Moura. Listen, nostalgia is a wonderful thing, but just get him out of here. Gareth Bale, I defended him with my life when he was at Real Madrid when he wasn't getting game time. Now I completely understand why Zidane was there. He shouldn't go back to Real Madrid. He should go back to Athletic Pamplona. That's where he should be playing right now. There's a lot of players there that you can't rely upon. Even the starting lineup, Steven Bergwijn, his end product is not good enough. That's why there's so much emphasis on Son and Kane. Even though you've got a front three, it's like a front two at the end of the day. It's just not. It's not a team that you can depend upon. Now, of course, the question is Mourinho using them to the best of their abilities? I would say yes and no, in the sense that one way or another, for some reason, even if they're playing a counter-attacking style or whatever, Son and Kane are still getting some sort of productivity this season, one way or another. So it works in their favour. Ndombele has played well this year. He's played really well this year, so maybe you can see that he's shining. But when you look at the other players around them, apart from Reguilon and Højbjerg, has any of them convinced this season? For me, it's a no. And if your team's going to win, you need everyone to do that. And Doherty was supposed to be competition for Aurier. Aurier leveled up. Doherty couldn't find his place. When Doherty played, he was poor. And now Aurier has gone back to being Aurier again. So it's one of those things where it's a bit of it's a situation where I can say, yeah, is he that team to the best of their ability? Maybe not, but that team is just not good enough. They need wholesale changes. Pochettino said it years ago, said this rebuild will be difficult and it'll be painful, and they didn't want to hear it. It's really painful for them right now because every time they think they're getting close to get slapped down like they did today.
Wait, to add on to that, I think yeah, he's not using them to the best of their abilities. But the thing that annoys me with Jose, and then Hoddle said it, is when Spurs try to build up, the players don't have a clue what they want to do. The players don't have a clue how to get the ball from back to front. Yes, you can say Jose doesn't trust the players, but if you're going to build up, don't bring on Harry Winks, don't bring on Lamela, because those are two technical players. If you want to go long, bring on Vinicius, in my opinion. Don't bring on those players if you're not going to.
But if you're going to make changes in midfield, apart from Harry Winks, who does he have on offer?
What was Sissoko tonight? Was he injured?
Do you want Sissoko to pass the ball?
Okay, no. You don't want Sissoko to pass the ball, but Sissoko, like carrying the ball, can get the ball from back to front better. The way Spurs did it. Like, there's more than one way to get the ball from back to front, and I feel if you're going to bring on a player like Harry Winks, at least let there be a structure for him to do well. Because I thought when they tried to pass it out, I'm thinking, what are you guys doing? Do you want Liverpool to score 4, 5, 6 today? It was ridiculous.
Yeah. So coming to you, do you think Mourinho is finished, or maybe it's just a bigger problem Spurs where they don't have the players and they're not really known to invest in effectively to rejuvenate the squad because Daniel Levy likes to be a tough negotiator and bringing in players?
You asking me?
Sonny?
Yeah. For you.
What if Mourinho's finished?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's finished. Or do you think it's a bigger Spurs problem rather than a Mourinho problem?
No, I think it's. I don't think Mourinho is going to find consistency with his tactics because when you play that defensive football, how are you going to always hold on when you're playing up against these teams? Like, look, he's played Fulham and done the same thing, so it's not just one of those things where you go and play Liverpool and then you sit back. He's done the same against Fulham. Fulham and Liverpool are incomparable. Liverpool are a much better team than Fulham. If he's still playing that defensive football against Fulham, where's he going to get anywhere? Because that team will always get a goal towards the end. If you score first, we'll go to defend, and then you concede. You're going to drop points every single game.
I fully agree with you, Sonny. Fully agree with you.
I think it's quite ridiculous that he has set up negative because there was a period where it seemed bright, it seemed flowing. Obviously, it was mainly Kane and Son, but it seemed like they were looking to attack in the early stages of the season. It reminds me of the season where he won the league with Chelsea, where they started playing good attacking football. Everyone praised him, and then reverted back to type. Now back then, he had the players where he can do so. With this Tottenham team, you've known for many years that they're not equipped to hold in leads, especially if they take especially if they take the lead. They're not equipped to seeing games out because mentally, the players just don't seem to have the mental capacity to hold,
But to be fair with that, if you look at the goals they concede, they're not that crazy. Like, they're not all mistakes. I just think it's just coming when you play that defensive football.
Yeah, I agree. So Darren, final thoughts on Tottenham, and then I like your prediction as to where you think Tottenham will finish at the end of the season. Oh, Darren.
Yeah. I don't care. You know what? We're still. Yeah. We're still there, innit? We're still there, but we took a dent. We took a complete and utter. That was a dent tonight, man. That was poor. By the way, can you lot hear me? Because I've changed.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah, that was conceding 6 points to who are supposed to be our title rivals. Like, is the poorest ever. And do you know what I think? I feel like it's self-sabotage. You know. I'm starting to feel like it's self-sabotage because the things that we're doing, the way we're being set up, the way we're setting up a lot of the time, like, and the way we're playing, when we're supposed to give it to teams, i.e., let's say Palace, Wolves, even tonight,
Fulham.
Liverpool, we're supposed to,
Fulham as well.
Fulham.
Who said that again?
Fulham as well.
Yes, Fulham. Yeah, we're supposed to give it to teams, and we just don't. We don't want to attack them. And it's like when we do, look at what we did to.
Who do you blame that on? Because you've seen Harry Kane come out and say that it's not Mourinho telling them to play that defensive football. It's just their instinct. But I don't believe that.
I don't believe that one bit.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Why not though? Because Kane isn't someone that does things just for the sake of saying things. I don't think that's
because we see Mourinho do this at every single club he's been at.
But today, I don't feel like they were that defensive. Sorry, Darren. Sorry.
I think they were.
I think they were, Michael. I think they set how they set every game where they look to sit back and hit teams on the counter attack. It just seems like every game is geared towards just the counter attack, and you need to switch it up in certain games. Because even today, I understand being solid against the Liverpool team because they're still dangerous. But ultimately, it's the same tactics I've seen in the past, maybe 5-6 games, where they look bright in the first 5 minutes and then they revert back to type, which is sitting back and looking to exploit the space against Liverpool. Which I get is the right tactic, but it hasn't worked in the past against other teams, and I thought we should have switched up a bit.
But the thing for me is when I assess the squad, like, so if he doesn't play that type of football, I guess we're maybe looking for to be in a bit more of control, where you've got the players playing a bit more of a technical style. But apart from Ndombele, and I mean, I called Winks a recycler about 2 or 3 weeks ago because all I see is this or that. Yeah. I don't see that from him. I don't know. So that's why I asked the question of before, because he says Sissoko will bring the ball back from back to forward, and Daniel's right. He does drag the ball from back to front, but it's what he does after that's the issue. He can't shoot. His passing is poor. So then you look at Ndombele, you're like, all right, cool. Højbjerg is the sitting man. He does his job every time. Win, lose, or draw, he does his job. He sits, he holds, he does his thing. But that's 2 men in the midfield. Son is going to get the ball and run. Kane will always drop because he needs to get involved in the play. You can't focus. The right side is an absolute disaster class because Doherty and Aurier are not performing. Højbjerg poor. Bale poor. Lucas Moura poor. So I'm like, as much as I understand what people are saying about Mourinho, I also think we have to put the players on that same sort of pedestal because it's like, I don't feel like this team can play a possession style football or even a different style of football. I really don't know.
Yeah, that might be it. I don't
know where they can do it.
That might be it. Darren, do you agree? Because I don't watch Spurs week to week for 90 minutes. I'll catch maybe 20 and 30 minutes here and there. But do you agree that you don't have a squad to play a different style of football?
Boy, do you know what? We took it to United. We can play a different style of football when we want. We took it to United. We drew with West Ham because that was abject defending once again. Took it to Newcastle, abject defending once again. When we're ready to take it to a team, we can. And not many teams can handle us when we do play, when we do decide to play. But the problem is when you're, all right, it worked against Arsenal, right? And to be honest, even then, I don't know why we sat back and defended the second half, and we should have just beaten 5-6-0 and demoralised them for life, right? But we did. I don't know why. City, it worked like a charm. Liverpool, it seemed to work at Anfield, and then we just sat back way too much rather than, and then we lost 2-1. I think most Spurs fans are just tired of it. They're tired, and the thing is, I will give Mourinho till the end of the season. I'm not going to say anything yet because this is his first full season. The jury for me is out on him. At the end of the day, he's still the most decorated manager in the Prem. So for me, there's got to be something about him. But he's made some mistakes, especially in the last month or so. And I know people are already Jose out, and this is why we shouldn't have had Jose in the first place. But we've still got the season ain't done. However, I'm looking. You understand? I'm watching him because from I saw that lineup, I saw the formation. I said, you know what? I can't see what we're gonna do here. I can't see what we're gonna do. And look, we were just so poor and so demoralized. It's unbelievable. So it'll be interesting to see what he says after, or in the press conference, or his interviews afterwards. But this is one of the games where I lay the blame at his door as well. You understand? And this persistence with Eric Dyer, like it's his son. I don't get it. Like it's just mad decision making. So I don't know what to say, man. You can't go from top. You can't go from top in December to flipping. I don't even know where we are in the league right now. I don't even know. Like I don't actually care at this particular moment, right? I'm too busy screwing. But I've got to lay the blame at Jose's door at this particular this game for definite. Because he knows we can play a different way. And it feels like I said, it feels like self-sabotage. It's like he's trying to prove a point. Like he needs a new centre back. So I'll tell you what, I'll put Eric Dyer out there with Joe Rodon, who haven't played together very often, and then I'll blame them afterwards. Do you understand? Like I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it, and he needs to stop it ASAP. Anyway, I'm going to carry on ranting if you let me. So cut me off.
Let me put end to misery and start to move on. I can feel the emotions coming out. But don't worry, we'll revisit this conversation when Arsenal lead Tottenham in the table. Wow. Yeah, then we can have that conversation. But moving on to other matters that occurred this week. It was confirmed that Frank Lampard was sacked from Chelsea. And it seems to have got mixed reviews. I mean, a lot of the journalists, a lot of the pundits disagreed with the decision. There was a lot of football fans who saw this coming from a mile off. None so than our guest Darren today, who predicted this a few weeks ago. Just wanted to gather your thoughts on whether Chelsea pulled up the plug too early or whether the sacking in itself was warranted. But yeah, Daniel, you can start since you have a lot to say about Lampard.
I'll start with the journalists. The journalists are an absolute disgrace, led by Harry Redknapp, Jamie Redknapp, who coincidentally are related to Frank Lampard. The reason why I say they're a disgrace is because these people are paid to analyze football, not comment on their mates. And if you analyze Chelsea's football, you cannot blame Roman Abramovich for what he did. People are pretending like they just woke up or they just started watching football 2 weeks ago. Roman Abramovich has been doing this ever since he's come to the Premier League. He sacked Jose Mourinho, the most successful manager ever. Carlo Ancelotti goes and wins the league. He sacks him the next season. He was even texting him question marks after games in the second season. Roberto Di Matteo wins the Champions League. He sacks him. Rafa Benitez finishes third, wins the Europa League. He sacks him. So I don't know why people are moving surprised with Frank Lampard's decision. For me, the journalist just needs to keep quiet. For fans, the fans who are saying it's a disgrace, I saw one stream a guy say, I'm not going to repeat what he said because what he said was an absolute disgrace. But look, listen, Frank Lampard has not been good, in my personal opinion.
Daniel, even to add to what you're saying, because it's funny how everyone is saying like they can't believe Roman has done this, they can't believe it's sacked Lampard was doing a good job. The funny thing is this, Sarri did a far better job than Lampard did and still got sacked. after one season, and you won a trophy. And the funny thing is that a lot of the pundits and journalists, when Sarri got sacked, said he deserved to get sacked. And it's funny how the tone has changed now that Lampard has been sacked back. Oh, he doesn't deserve this, he was doing a good job. I'm like, if he did the job that Sarri did, he would have been praised to the hills. But Sarri did a far better job at Chelsea after one season and was sacked, and there was no sympathy whatsoever. So,
Thank you.
And it's funny that now Lampard has been sacked. You know, the sympathy is everywhere, and So I just wanted to continue with your point.
I'm so happy you said that, because with Sarri, like, I like Sarri at Napoli. I thought he played a lot of good football.
Golden boy, innit? He's golden boy.
Exactly, he is the golden boy. And then when Sarri came over to Chelsea, I'm not going to say he was fantastic, but the stick he got was beyond ridiculous. But because Lampard is an ex-footballer in English, he gets the benefit of the doubt. No, judge him of what he's doing on the pitch. And for me personally, look, Arsenal have the worst start in about how long, Basil? 26 years? And right now, after 20 games, Arsenal are level of points with Chelsea.
You're seeing his win percentage as well.
It's the worst. It's the worst out of all the Chelsea managers. So for me, Lampard definitely deserved to get sacked. I do feel sorry for him, because I do think he can become a good manager. I just think that this job came way too early for him. And for a guy who's had a year experience to take on a job at one of the biggest clubs in England, probably the second biggest club or the third biggest club in London, as a second job after a year, it's a joke. So for me, that's all I have to say, because all I've been seeing, Jamie Redknapp, Harry Redknapp, look, listen, stop commentating on football. Go on, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here, because look, they're not chatting sense. I'm sorry, they're not chatting sense.
Wow. Stanley, coming over to you, obviously, Lampard and Gerrard have always been compared to each other when they're both playing. And then if you look at them managerial-wise, Gerrard seems to be doing a far better job at Rangers than Lampard has done in his manager. What was your thoughts on it when you heard Lampard got sacked?
Well, I look back to the start, and then I think, why was he appointed? Because I've said this so many times, it's a disgrace. Look at all the proven managers out there. And for Chelsea Football Club to go for Frank Lampard, manager of Derby County, bringing them from sick to sick, and losing the playoff final, by the way, what winning experience has he got? Why do Chelsea appoint a manager like Frank Lampard? If that's someone else in that position, look, I get the fact that maybe Lampard's got that, he's all Chelsea. But as a manager, why are Chelsea not looking out for a proven manager, first of all? Because bringing Lampard in is the first mistake. And I think Abramovich should blame himself.
Yeah. Darren, I know you had a lot to say last time. Continue your thoughts, Darren.
Definitely. The thing is, sorry,
you had a lot to say last time. I'm not going to say more.
Oh boy, listen, I'm. You know what? I'm never going to say nothing. You know, I'm not going to say nothing. Yeah, no, my campaign is done, innit? My campaign is over.
Yeah, do you know what?
My campaign is over.
You sound like all the Americans that want
done. Like, at the end of the day, I'm saying exactly what you lot said, innit? Like, the job was too big for him. The job was too big for him. He will be a good coach eventually, but it was too much, man. And the Chelsea job is a poison chalice as it is. You got to hit the ground running. You haven't got the experience to hit the ground running at the end of the day. So it will be a good manager, not Chelsea. It was too much, man.
It's not even Chelsea. Look at other teams in the Premier League. Would he even get the job there?
You have a good point. Like, that's a good point, Sonny. Like, if after his season at Derby, if the 20 Premier League clubs, if one of them sacked a manager, needed a new manager, Frank Lampard would be nowhere near the radar, unless Harry Redknapp knows the owner, because that's how he seems to get done. But he'll be nowhere near the radar. So, like,
he should never be there.
Never. Like, it's an absolute disgrace. Like,
if his name was like Jamie Harrison, then he's nowhere near the Chelsea job or a Premier League job.
No, I agree. Bring in Kojo. What was your thoughts on it? And also an additional question to that. Tuchel, is he under big pressure now to really like the middle for Chelsea, considering when Lampard has left the club?
Beginning of the season, I said Lampard finished fourth, and he spent 200 million plus on talent. So it's either title challenge or get sacked. there's no title challenge, so you have to go. Very simple as that. Because that's what Chelsea expect. He knew that as a player, and he knew that coming in as a manager. Last season, he was saying that's what Chelsea expect to do, win trophies. We weren't close to doing that, so he had to go. As for Tuchel, there's always going to be pressure when you're at Chelsea. That's not even a question or thing up for debate. When you're at Chelsea and Roman Abramovich is the owner, pressure is always going to be on. He's probably going to be given till the end of the season to let things run through. You're on the title challenge. You are still in the Champions League, so maybe just don't go out in an embarrassing fashion. But next summer, he'll probably be backed a little bit. And then it's a case of, okay, you've maybe brought in one or two of your own players that you want to bring in, and you've got a talented squad also. So I want to see serious improvements. And if that doesn't happen, he's next through the door. That's how it is. That's how it is at Chelsea. I think everyone here knows that. So, I mean, you guys have spoken about Ancelotti winning Premier League and getting fired. Di Matteo won Champions League, got fired. You know, Mourinho won Premier League twice and then got fired, and then won it again and still got fired. So, you know, if Tuchel's going to survive, he's going to have to bring in trophies, and I think it's going to have to happen next season. So I would write off from now.
Do you know what? I think it's going to be listen, I wouldn't be surprised if even Tuchel sacked at the end of the season. And the reason why I say that is this, right? Because Chelsea's a bad club. The reason I say it is I don't think he's equipped for the Premier League in terms of, if you watch Tuchel under Dortmund and even Paris Saint-Germain, defensively, he neglects his defence for this team. And I don't think the Premier League is really the league where you can't have a good balance between defence and attack. And secondly, I don't even think Chelsea are guaranteed even top four, considering just how competitive this league is. And Chelsea could potentially finish 6th or 7th in this league, potentially at the end of the season. And I question whether, if that happens, whether they'll still keep him on past the end of this season. So I think he's under the most amount of pressure that any Chelsea manager come in has ever been under. Because I don't think...
Well, he's only on a 1.5-year contract, though, to be fair.
Yeah, but I still think they can give him a boot after the summer, to be honest. Like, that's how Chelsea operate. It would not surprise me whatsoever.
Yeah, if Tuchel gets sacked at the end of the season, that'll be funny. But look, the sympathy Frank Lampard is getting needs to stop immediately. I'm sorry, it needs to stop. Like, I see what the Red Naps are saying. Sorry for always going back to them. It's just so annoying that, like,
but bro,
aren't they shameless?
But bro, you know what it is. They are very, very desperate for an English manager to win the Premier League because it hasn't happened. They're screaming for it. They're begging for it because it burns them that the English Premier League has been won by foreigners and a Scotsman. So, at the end of the day, if they want a Premier League champion, they're looking to Frank Lampard next. So when Gerrard comes here, he's doing wonderfully well at Rangers. But the engine behind him winning something is also going to be huge because they would want an Englishman to win the Premier League, and he will become the first Englishman to win the Premier League, and suddenly pandemonium everywhere, all over media, and it goes crazy. If Gerrard doesn't win the Premier League and he gets fired from, I don't know, if it's Liverpool in the future, then the same thing's going to happen, even if he wants to do a terrible job. So that's what it is, man. And Lampard is one of their golden boys. So,
do you know what I think is another issue, Kojo? And I think Pep Guardiola started this in 2000, whenever he got appointed. People in football become romantics. Pep Guardiola came from the youth team. He played for Barcelona, coached the youth team, then coached Barcelona, and then won everything. Then Madrid tried to do the same thing with Zizou. It worked. Now Juve want to do the same thing with Pirlo. Arsenal are trying it with Arteta, and Chelsea tried it with Frank Lampard. These clubs need to realize that Pep Guardiola is special and Zidane is special. A rookie ex-player can't just come and be winning. It's a rare thing. So people need to get this idea, this romantic idea that one of our own is going to win or something. If he's not good enough, don't appoint him. Simple as.
Yeah. 100%. So moving on, like, considering where the league is right now, I mean, it's a crazy season right now. If you look from like 1 to like 10 or 11, the points gap isn't that much. Do you think the Premier League right now is competitive now and there's more quality, or do you think maybe just the quality in itself is reduced? Because I stand. Obviously, some of the matches aren't always great, but I think the Premier League there's much more competitive teams, and I think it's going to be like this for the next few years running. Well, some people may argue that, listen, the quality of the big teams has just decreased that much, is making everybody else look good. What do you guys stand in regards to that?
I'll let Kojo start because Kojo has been on this for time.
This has been years, man. I've been saying this for years, man. I've always said that I count champions of their years out of this because they did their thing. So City, Liverpool, Leicester, Chelsea, this doesn't concern you of your winning years anyway. Everyone else is competitive because this league stinks, bro. It's as simple as that. I'm not trying to, and everyone asks me, does you put your team in there as well? Absolutely, I put my own club in there as well. The league stinks. It's not about the champions. If you win the league, you've done your thing. You know what I'm saying? No one can talk to you because you've beaten everyone there is to beat. But the league's quality has diminished bit by bit, and that's why all these other clubs, they're doing well. They are getting gradually better, but in reality, they're not as good as you know what I mean? It's made out to look like they're much better. So, I mean, Villa are a good side. But Villa are not a superb team, but Villa are doing wonderful things. Yet, West Ham, who no one's speaking about, are suddenly fifth. How in the hell have West Ham United got into fifth? And I'm not trying to take that anything away from them, but it says a lot that everyone else or some things that we praise are not reaching the same heights. You know what I'm saying?
But Coach, why wouldn't West Ham be fifth? I mean, they've had a man who's managed Manchester United. I mean, just that experience alone.
Sonny, just to put context, Kojo does not even say Devin Moyes' name because he dislikes him that much.
No.
So that's why Basil did what he did.
Basil. I told you, don't mention certain names around me. Yeah, it's as simple as it gets. As for him, right? I mean, the one thing I'm just glad about right now is that my team is above him because I would actually lose the plot at that point, bro. Like it's a long team, but no, he's look. I end there. I'll be real. He's doing his thing with West Ham. Yeah. I think he's more concerned with the way they play gets results rather than the way they play looks good, and they're getting what they need to get W's. So that's why I said I'm not even trying to get onto them too tough, but the league's quality has been dropping for a long time, and I've been saying this over and over again because you can just see it. You can just see it in most teams. I mean, you talk about title defenses. Chelsea won the title, and then what? 10th? Leicester won the title. Yeah, I know what the season was about, but where did they go next? My point exactly. City won the title, so close to Liverpool, 98, 97. They retained it. Fantastic year for those two clubs. Everyone else, I think the gap between second and third was 20-something points. So, of course, competitive. But then City next year were nowhere to be found as Liverpool went clear. Again, not a Liverpool problem, but if you are about this, why not keep the... You know what I'm saying? Like it's always one thing, what you lose company and suddenly you're done. Like it's all these small things that make me question the league, and it's not just a top thing, it's also the teams at the bottom also. That's why Sheffield United could be so top to the European spots last year, but suddenly they got only 8 points. Yeah, thanks by the way, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Steve Bruce for that. Thanks. So
we'll come to that.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'm just giving them my thanks in advance, isn't it? So no, but I've been saying this for a long time about the league. I just don't see the quality growing. But it's not just the Premier League thing. I don't know what to think about that. It's a football thing. It's not just a Premier League thing. So that's my 2 pence anyway.
Yeah. So Sonny, coming to you quickly. Usually our ever present guest Harold, when he's described Liverpool, he says, Liverpool are a great team. And this season, what he says is that Liverpool come down to everybody else's level. So what's your thoughts on the overall quality of the league? Do you think more or less it's improved and that's the reason why it's so competitive, or do you just think some of the top teams have just dropped so much that it's making other teams look better?
It's hard to say because I think that when people say the points that was reached last season won't happen again, I think City actually proven us wrong. I think City are going to be that team with the dominance. I think everyone below City is going to be close. I think Liverpool not buying a centre back that finishes it. I think trying to keep up with City with what they're doing. I mean, they beat West Brom. It's West Brom, but they beat them 5-0 without Kevin De Bruyne. And I see this carrying on. Because no Kevin De Bruyne, if they're scoring that many goals when people say they can't score goals, I think that's ridiculous. And the thing is with the defence at Man City right now is the defence has had, I want to say, it's like 10 games running with like 1 goal conceded. It's mad, and it's different to the attack, because with the attack it's different. If you have the attack firing for 10 games straight, you're not going to get that for another 10 games usually. But with the defense, it can't really get much worse, can it? So Ruben Diaz, John Stones, if they stay as good as they are, which I think they will, I think it's City's league this season. But below them, I think, yeah, pretty close, to be honest.
Moving on to you, Daniel, your thoughts.
I think the quality of the top teams, Liverpool included, and the traditional top teams have declined, and we can't deny that. And all we have to do is just look at the second goal United conceded yesterday. When I saw that, I didn't even want to throw United fans, because it was just so bad. From when Martial lost it to when
Martial may as well have been a part of the audience. He was
Exactly.
Trust me, Sonny, we're getting to him real soon. Don't worry.
The intensity of that phase of play, it was as if I was watching 50-year-old Nigerian uncles play football in the park. That's how slow and lethargic it was. It was so bad. And you know what makes it worse? This is a team that's meant to be going top of the league after 20 games playing at home. And that's how they're playing. So for me, I think the quality of the league, yeah, it's definitely gotten worse. This decade, it's just gotten worse. I'll say from about 2013, 2014, it's just declined. And I think the reason for that is, firstly, defending. People don't really care about defending too much. And one example I'll give, in the Tottenham-Liverpool game, towards the end of the game, you're playing away from home, the keeper gets it, and Alisson is trying to do Sergio Busquets. Bro, kick it up the pitch and get rid of it. You're playing away from home. And that's just the mentality of football now. You see that a lot. Defenders think the DMs, goalkeepers think the DMs. They try and play tippy-tappy football. They'll lose the ball, and then the other team have a clear chance. And we're just seeing that a lot in football. I think yes, it's good to play expansive football. I like expansive football. But if defenders sometimes stuck to the basics, midfielders did their job, would be seen a lot better, high-quality game, because some of the things that I'm seeing is I just shake my head. Another example, did you see Jordan Pickford yesterday? That's the England national team keeper. I know England have not been blessed with good keepers ever since I've started watching football. From David James to Paul Robinson, they've all been poor. But that's England's #1 goalkeeper. A man is hitting the ball.
What Nick Pope is doing, and he still won't play. Nick Pope is doing amazing, and he still won't play.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah,
but that's because Gareth Southgate loves his yes men, innit? The FA have told him this is who you need to pick, so pick them, and that's pretty much it. That's the way I look at it, to be honest with you.
No, go on, Darren. Go on.
Yeah, sorry. Can just to expound on your point. Sorry to cut you, Dan.
No, it's fine.
About defending, right? Because the problem is the art of defending seems to have disappeared. Gone are the days of the Maldinis, the Cannavaros, the Nestas, the Barresis. You understand? Like, all right, admittedly, I'm getting on a bit. So when I used to play little Saturday League and thing, it was just that I was a left back and I just stay right back because it's defending. But now, nowadays managers want fullbacks that are wingers, centre backs that can play the ball forward, right? And then that takes away from the actual job of defending, right? And now I'm at risk of sounding like flipping Sam Allardyce or something like that. You know, it's a lost art, right? And that's what's happening, and that's why, even though the football's more expansive, the passing from back to front is great. You know, some of the defenders can't necessarily do the basics. So I'm finding that's what is happening. So you're seeing a lot of teams get in behind. People like, for instance, Trent. Trent is one of the top left backs in the top backs in the world, right? Everybody's asking me the same question. The answer still is yes. Be quiet, right? So, right? So pipe down, innit? I'm ready to die on that hill. I don't business. Yeah. So you've got Trent. Trent is one of the best backs in the world, right? One of the best fullbacks on the planet. And look how bad he is at defending. You know, that says everything for me. You know, when you had a Cafu that was running down the right hand side, you know, they could defend. So that for me is just something that I think is missing. It's gonna take a little while. I don't know where it's gonna go in terms of is it going to get worse, or are teams going to realize, or coaches going to realize it's going to get better? I don't know, but that's what I think is happening at the moment, and I believe that the Premiership is especially the Premier is kind of suffering for it. You know, it might be a better spectacle to watch, but you know, for teams, is it what you need right now? So, yeah, that's my take on it. Anyway,
do you know what doesn't help? I feel I don't think teams' transfer policies help at all. Like, I'll hear pundits or I'll be reading rumors, and teams always want to go for players that are playing in top leagues, doing well in the Champions League, did well in the Euros, did well in the World Cup. When there's so many gems. If you look at the top two centre-backs this season, Wesley Fofana and Ruben Diaz, this time last year, if I said, okay, guys, we need to sign a centre-back, those names would not have been mentioned at all. But at the moment, those two are the best centre-backs in the Premier League at the moment. I just think that now teams are just trying to buy hype instead of buying a player who's actually good at football. Prime example, Nicolas Pepe, 72 million for what?
But do you know what's weird though? It's weird because, like, I'm you know, done my scouting qualifications. I've been, you know, me and Basil, we've networked quite a lot, and you know, scouts use a lot of data, a lot of there are platforms where you can watch players and clip little bits of players, and you go and watch them, and everything together should help to improve the recruitment in a club. But there's a lot of times it doesn't. And you are right, because at the end of the day, you've got a Nicolas Pepe, you've watched Nicolas Pepe, and he's come over to the Prem and stunk up the place. And I don't really get what happened there. Do you know what I mean? I don't really understand. Like, I think who I rate for recruitment is Liverpool. Liverpool's recruitment is spot on, generally. Spot on. I think Liverpool have got the best recruitment pretty much in Europe.
No, do you know who I think recruitment is even better than Liverpool's? Leicester.
Who's that?
Leicester. Ricardo Pereira, brilliant right back. So Yunchu, not a bad centre back. Wesley Fofana, Castagne. These are all decent players who they got for a decent price, and they have been doing. James Maddison as well, who's now, I don't even think he's worth that much, but if he leaves, he's an 80-90 million pound player they got for 25 million. And I feel like top club should be moving like this. This is how United used to move back in the day. Dennis Irwin, less than $1 million. Peter Schmeichel. But now teams just want, Chelsea will go and buy Kepa, or then they'll go and buy. I'm just thinking, what's going on?
It's a power play. It's a power play. It's a power play. That's what it is.
You know what, Daniel? You know that? Because the issue, and this is why I think you're finding that the bigger teams are looking poorer and some of the smaller teams are looking a bit better. Because now when they're recruiting, no longer, like back in the days, you had maybe the big 2 or 3 that could bully everyone and buy anybody they wanted for any fee, whether they were young, whether they were experienced. Now that gap has diminished. You can have a Villa buy a player that everyone else is looking at for about 30, 40 million. You can have a Leicester go buy the same players that Manchester United and Arsenal are looking at. So because now it's competitive on that level, as Michael said, it's a power play. So the bigger clubs are looking to flex their financial power to show we're still a big club. And because of that, they end up buying the wrong type of players because of that show. And because they want to show we can still buy, as I said, these top players who are renowned or mentioned, rather than actually going and buying with them just to highlight that. And I think because of that, what you find is that the quality is diminished of the bigger team, because no longer are they able to pick the players like they want, like picking sweets like candy shop anymore. Because the other smaller clubs can do that now, because the financial gap is completely diminished. Teams are now earning a good amount. But they can
do you not think it's because of like signings like Coutinho though, who've just flopped and they're so expensive, and like Pepe, Alexis Sanchez, expensive signings who haven't done anything, and they're like, if you get that money for them, then why not that?
Yeah, 100%. So obviously, like I said, I think the person that ruined it probably was maybe Paul Pogba, and the reason why is because as soon as Paul Pogba was signed for the price he did, it skewed the transfer prices, and what it did is allow us. The reason why I say that is because it set a new level. How much you price players, and then after, I think what came after him, the likes of Coutinho came after him, the likes of Mbappe, the likes of and then
Griezmann,
lower club is they benchmarked their players against that. So a club like Villa can say we want 60 million for this guy because now these are the levels you're spending now. But yeah,
Let me tell you why I don't agree with that. What I feel like is happening in football now is people doing a really bad imitation of Chelsea when they first got taken over, in the sense that when Chelsea started spending 25 million on each player, and we used to do that, but we used to do it on one player maybe every 2 or 3 years, whereas they were doing it year after year after year because they got taken over, they had the finances to do so. But within those signings, the money was spent well. How many duds, apart from maybe, let's say, Kesman and Mutsu because of drugs, and Veron, who didn't do well at United, but everyone knew Veron was a top player. It just didn't work out in England. So the signing of him made sense because he's a top footballer. Yeah. It just didn't work out in the country. But all their signings, Essien, 25 million, Drogba, 25 million, Duff was like 17 million. Like, the signings made sense. And look at the clubs that were being signed from. When we were getting successful, Van der Sar was cheap from Fulham. Everett was cheap from Monaco. I didn't know who Vidic was. Vidic comes from Spartak Moscow, bosses it. Rio Ferdinand he's an English talent, so yes. Leeds United, £30 million. No problem. West Brown Academy. I can go on and on and on. Now look at how Liverpool are doing business, right? Look how Liverpool have done business. Liverpool have bought what? Mane, Southampton. How much was he? Firmino.
Yeah.
How much was he? Salah, Roma. How much was he? It's common sense. Even look at City, right? How many of their signings have broken records? How many? All the money they've spent, how many of their signings have broken records? Consider their talent as well. Company, Aguero, KDB. Those 3 names alone, what records did they break financially?
None.
Because it's logical signings.
Yeah.
This is the point. You know what I mean? So it's a power play thing. It's Man United. As soon as David Woodward took over from David Gill, we want to show that we can be the Galacticos. How successful, in all truth, were the Galacticos?
Not even in all truth, it was poor. Like, I think they won one league title.
Thank you. Whilst Barcelona looked smart, Deco was brought in, Juli was brought in, Ronaldinho was brought in. How many things did they win? They won Champions League and league titles. You see what I'm saying? So it's all about how you spend the money rather than just being stupid and spending it big. Because City now we're to go and buy Ruben Diaz. Look at what he's doing. When you compare him to certain captains on the other side of Manchester, what has he been doing? You see my point? So it's all about how you spend it. You have to spend logically. That's what it is at the end of the day. These teams, they spent big, but they spent smart. And when they spent big, it was big to us. But then when you saw what it was worth, it was like, well, you can't complain. So this whole power play thing, and then on top of playing football, another team's doing bad imitations of Pep Guardiola's Barcelona. Because as soon as he started doing triangles and adaptation of what Louis van Gaal was doing with Ajax and so on and so forth, but then you forget that he had colossal centre backs in Puyol and Piqué. And then when he went to Bayern, was doing that thing as well in the Bundesliga. He had Mats Hummels and Joao Boateng, and Boateng was obviously ruined by Pep's son. And then he came to England. He had Company, and he got Laporte. Otamendi didn't work out last year after the Company left. But what did he do? Ruben Diaz. Smart signings. Look at Liverpool. They were laughed at for spending 75 million on Virgil van Dijk. Here's another one for you. Man United chose to spend on Lindelof rather than trying to go for Van Dijk. Who's laughing now? Logical signings. This is what it's about.
Wait, Sonny, I'm so happy you mentioned Phil Coutinho, because I think that ties into Michael's point about how bad global football is at the moment. When Phil Coutinho was signed, he was signed for 140 million. Firstly, we watch Phil Coutinho on a week-to-week basis. He is worth nowhere near 140 million. Secondly, when he came, I was hearing this is a guy that's going to replace Iniesta. I don't know why people like hyping players up. There's absolutely no way on earth Philip Coutinho can sit not on the same table, in the same room as Andres Iniesta.
He's not even near the same player.
So all this hype, all this dumb signings, and then they go buy Ousmane Dembele, who's a talented player, but for 90 million based on one season. Just so many dumb signings. And then if you look at Juventus team, Aaron Ramsey, Rabiot, Emre Can for free. Just all these top clubs just making daft signings. The only top club at the moment who I think is signing well are probably Liverpool and Bayern.
Yeah.
And that's why those two teams are regarded as maybe in the top 2 teams in Europe because every other team, even PSG, with all the money they have a midfield of Ander Herrera, Marquinhos, and Idris Gana Gueye. Like, come on,
exactly. And that's why they're struggling. That's why Barcelona are in financial trouble right now because they went from hardly spending any money, and when they spent big, everyone was like, "Oh, then this person must be fantastic." And then when they did it with Zlatan again, they were like, "It didn't work," so they went back to type. When Barcelona starts spending 140 million on players and Real Madrid starts spending smart, you gotta think, what the hell's going on here? Surely, like, it doesn't make sense.
I don't think. I don't think the standard of football has dropped. I just think the standard of players that these teams are buying is low. I think there are good players out there. I always think this. People always say there aren't good right backs. There'll be a good right back when a good right back is bought, and you'll see there are good right backs. Before, people were saying there aren't good centre backs. Fofana and Diaz are good centre backs. There are good players out there. These teams are just not buying them. But I need to end it there because I can't lie. United need to be talked about. But
coming back to you now. I mean, in fairness, your club did actually do well to finish that match 2-1 playing with 10 men. And I say 10 men because maybe Martial is basically a handicap these days. Go on. What's the problems at United? And it's a shame because Ole went looking like the next Pep Guardiola to Arteta within the space of 90 minutes.
Don't do that.
Okay. Firstly, which Pep Guardiola are you referring to? Because he wasn't looking like any Guardiola. Not Guardiola's father, not his mother, none of them. Firstly. Secondly, let me tell you what the issue is. This is why I don't come out and scream with my chest 21 in 21 because I know what's coming with this guy and this club. I've been here too many times. I said, listen, you gotta take your time with these things. And I'm not gonna lie to you. In my head, I didn't tweet it because I don't really tweet on my own Twitter anymore. But in my head, I was thinking, usually first versus 20th doesn't go in favor of first place.
Yeah, it doesn't still.
It really doesn't. So I had a slight worry, but then I also said on another pod that
before you continue, Coach, this is what happens when you've barely been number one for a number of years. Because things like that, Michael comes out Michael's mouth. Because if it was Daniel, I'm guessing Sonny too. When Liverpool were number one, they said, we're wiping the floor with Sheffield. It's a different energy down there.
Yeah, no, I just when I saw the lineup in my head, I was like, at the end of the day, you should have enough quality to just beat them. I'm not looking for 4-5. No, I don't care about that. Just get a W and go. They couldn't even do that. You mentioned Martial. Listen, I've already said on this show before. There's a clip you can go and find on the timeline on Footsays Twitter. I said I'm done. This is another night of I'm done. I don't need to even go into much detail about it. People were complaining. United fans were saying stuff like, "Why is Bruno dropping so far deep? Why is Telles not going down the left so much?" I'll tell you why. It's short and very simple. If you're playing a team that sits back, by the way, side note, Sheffield United had 9 injured players. They couldn't even make the bench full. But anyway, if you're playing against a team that's going to sit back and they're looking to Phil Jagielka, 38-year-old experienced Phil Jagielka, who is physically declining, to lead their backline, the one thing you shouldn't be doing is playing back-to-goal football or ball-to-feet football. You should be going for your strikers to say, go in behind. Martial does not make runs in behind. He likes ball-to-feet to try and beat players. He's not even beating players anymore. We used to get a gas about his dribbling. Dribbling is not even a thing for him anymore. You know what I'm saying? So he's just a handicap in it in itself. And then he goes to the left side where Rashford is, and then Rashford will come inside with him. And this is where Telles is suffering because Telles hasn't played enough games with either of them on the left side to build some sort of cohesion. So if they're now drifting or they're now coming to the same side, he won't know what to do. There were times where he was making runs and it was like, where are you going? But in my head, I'm thinking at the same time, you're just running for the sake of running because you don't know what's coming next. So you're going to try and make a run and see if they can find you. That's the problem. And this is where you look at the manager and you got to say, again, your substitutions take too long. Van der Beek came on for his customary 9 minutes. So he's probably now just completing 90 minutes in total in the Premier League. It's just laughable. Now, I'm not trying to overreact. Losses happen, innit? And at the end of the day, they're still second. They're not that far off top. But City have a game in hand on you. And now when they're making 4 points, you ain't catching them.
So Coach, Yeah. No, continue.
Yeah, so for me personally, I saw this coming. This is why I don't talk my mouth too much, because last time we were so close to fourth place and one wing gets it, we got slapped by Cardiff and Huddersfield. Oh, we should have got the Champions League. We needed 1 point. Went to Leipzig and got slapped down. PSG came to our turf and slapped us down as well. Istanbul even did us. Then Baba had a 1-on-1 from the halfway line. It's things like this that makes you have to realize that United are still not levels.
This one.
Levels. A lot of the players are not levels, and I can go through the whole squad, but we'll be here. We'll be here for an hour now. If you want me to be here, if you want to be here for 3 hours, let me run it, innit? That's what it is.
We'll come back to it, Darren. Actually, yeah, go on, Darren. What's your thoughts on United, and do United have the substance and the minerals to not even finish, not even win the league, but even sustain a top 4 challenge? Because it's a crazy thing. Liverpool went from first to like 5th, and are back in the top 4. So, what's your thoughts on United, and what kind of minerals do they have in terms of
To be honest with you, I didn't watch yesterday's game. I haven't seen the goals or anything, but it didn't surprise me when they lost to Sheffield United. Why? Because this is Ole's United, isn't it? Right? He'll go on a run, and then he'll just suffer some inexplicable loss, right? And this is why I don't think United will win the league. I don't think they're ready. However, I do think they'll finish top 4, because I've seen what game was it they won, and I just saw the camaraderie in the team. They were just celebrating, and I just thought to myself, you know what? They're starting to gel.
When Barry did that block.
Yeah, that was it. Thank you. That was it. And I could see the camaraderie, and I think that the team dynamic, the way the team is set up, and the way they are with one another, that's a lot of things. Because when it was like Poch's Tottenham, that was what got us through a lot of the time. The camaraderie in the team, that helps a lot. And I think United are Ole. The good thing that Ole's done is fostered that a lot within the team, and he's got them, really believing in Man United. Because let's be real, Ole's just a Man United yes man, a wannabe Fergie clone. He is, man. He just is, right? But he knows the United way, and the thing is, he loves that club. He is that club, and he's getting that within the players. But tactically, he's not. He's still not levels yet. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't think they're going to win the league. I knew they weren't going to stay top, even though United fans were gassing all over my timeline, my Twitter timeline. Right? But I knew that wasn't going to happen. But I do think they're good enough to finish top 4, because the resurgence of Paul Pogba, right, is come at the right time. He's really playing well. You've got I still think up front you do quite well. Apart from Martial, I like Greenwood, Rashford, Bruno Fernandes is just making some unbelievable contributions to your team. Without him, I don't think you'd be anywhere near top 4. I think you'd be 6th or 7th, to be honest with you. But the team is slowly starting to gel, and you're a couple more signings away. There are a couple of signings away from a real title challenge. But as long as they recruit properly, it doesn't look like it's going to be January now, but in the summer, then you could see them there or thereabouts. Do you know what I mean? But just not now. Not now. That's what I would say. That's actually quite nice there about them.
Darren, you know what you just said about a couple of signings, and they'll be there. Does that not remind you of a club near you that we just say that about as well?
No. No. Plainly, no. Nah, man, they've been whacked for a while. Yeah.
Listen, we're
just saying that's what I used to hear, innit? So
we're not going
whacked for a while.
We're not going there. Sorry.
Ashley, hold on. Ashley Best, keep your mouth quiet, yeah? Keep your mouth quiet, because you and your agendas, bro. You're folding agenda, right? Let's talk about Pepe, innit, Ashley? Come on here and talk about Nicolas Pepe. Talk about Aubameyang and talk about Laka Jeffers. You understand? Let's talk about that, right? Wow. Don't come on here calling my name, brother. You understand? Don't even bother. Yeah?
Wow.
That's all I'm going to say.
But going back to my point, man. We saw like Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool saw the substance they had. Top of the league for much of last season, and managed to cross the finish line. we've seen. I'm guessing you've had to deal with a lot of United fans talking and talking, thinking they're gonna win the league this season. What's your thoughts on United, and what's your message to any United fans? This is your platform and your time to give it to them.
With United, I question whether these United fans actually think they are going to win the league. I think it's because, look, I'm being unbiased here because that's what I've got to do on my channel. I do content for the Big Six. I have to be unbiased like this. But for United, I don't think their fans genuinely believe they're going to win the league. I think they haven't had this in years. You're gonna use it, aren't you? You're top of the league. Why would you not say it? But there's no real way that I think they actually think that, because what consistency has this team ever shown of doing that? 38 games in a season. Has this team shown that they can do that? They haven't. Has Ole Gunnar Solskjaer proved that he's that good? He hasn't. Look, I like Ole. I think he's a good manager. I think United should stick with him. But a league title? No, not in a few years. Not in a few years.
Wait. Wait. Stick with who? Sonny.
Ole's at the wheel.
Basil, don't let me come and find you. Sonny.
No, don't you think though? Don't you think, yeah? If you give, the thing is, sorry to cut you lot, but managers need time.
Exactly.
Right?
I agree.
Managers need time. Yeah? Ole's, it's a bit slow, but what, you won't give him another season now?
I give him another two.
Do you know what I think with Ole is? I think he should get another season. I think he has deserved another season. However, when Sonny said he's a good manager, I agree to an extent. I think what Ole has done, and he doesn't get enough credit for, is his man management. For example,
Dan, even to add to your point, he reminds a bit of like what Zidane did with the other two.
Exactly.
Management, but continue.
His man management, even the way he's handled the Paul Pogba situation, has been brilliant. And just to, like, another manager who I also think is very good at man management, who I think is somewhat overrated, you guys can crucify me for this, is Carlo Ancelotti. When I listen to what players say about him, hardly would you hear players talk about how he's tactically brilliant, his training sessions, or talk about how he's a good best friend for them and he makes them feel on top of the world. Yeah. And I think that's what Ole has done with United. However, Sonny said something that is very key. He said United fans did not think United were going to win the league. Now, if you talk to United fans and you talk about United fans players, apart from Mike, who has sense, United fans have this daft belief that Martial is going to become a top striker. Don't know where that has come from. Marcus Rashford, apart from Mike again, and don't let United fans lie to you, they think he's on the same level as Kylian Mbappe. Don't know where that came from. Mason Greenwood, they think he's the best thing since sliced bread. Paul Pogba, even though he is a good player, people still think that he's been consistent for United, even though this is a lie. Bruno Fernandes, they think he's very world class. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because United fans think that they have a brilliant team, but they don't think that they are going to win the title. And I said this a couple of weeks ago. There's a reason for that. And the reason is they don't believe they have the manager to take them to the top. Yes, you can be good at man management, but you also have to be good tactically. And I think that's what let them down against Sheffield United. Manchester United, 18 months into Ole's reign, cannot break down a low block. And we said at the start, and we're saying it now, they don't look any much better at breaking down a low block. And I think that's because Ole just says, guys, we're just going to do vibes and inshallah today, every game. And it's been working. So, yeah, that's just my point on Ole. But Michael wants to say something.
This is his face. Yeah. His face.
I don't even think United are close to winning the league. I think right now, I think right now it's all, as Daddy said, it's all vibes. Like, there's no tactics. The synergy really isn't there. It's really just...
No, I disagree with that. I think what Solskjaer's done, you can't respect it. I just don't think it's good enough for a league.
No, but the reason why I say it, because I think other teams are going to improve. Like, tactically, I don't think United are fantastic. I think right now it's basically the limitless pill that you see in the film. It feels like the players are just on that high. But I think come next season, when the big boys start to kick into gear, and that includes Arsenal, I think things are going to change.
But to be fair, you know what?
That
was Wait, before you continue, Qualms, you said you hope Kojo brings his A game. Qualms, look, listen, on the last time Arsenal won, you're on our stream talking a lot, and you seem confident. Are you willing to come on our stream again on Sunday? Just write in the comments below. But anyway, continue, Kojo.
Okay, right. Where do I even begin? Daniel, first of all, you lied because you mentioned forwards, but you failed to mention the fact that we hate Maguire, Lindelof. Wan-Bissaka's getting noise right now. Shaw's been called a Thickham/BBW for years now. De Gea has lost his credibility. Matic, people want him gone. They call him Robocop, Terminator. Get him out of here. He's a ferry as well. McTominay, don't even get started. People have said that they want Fred gone. Bruv, there's no confidence in this team. So there is no belief that they're going to do anything whatsoever, because you mentioned forwards, and yes, Greenwood, exciting talent. They love it. Marshall FC, honestly, I'm not even going to get into that. Rashford and Mbappe, I don't know where that even came from in the first place. Maybe just because they're both black. Bruno Fernandes, because I call him Thanos, because even when he drops stinkers, one way or another, he's contributing something. Pogba has been inconsistent. Facts. But there's no absolute confidence in this whole team for them to go and win something, or a league anyway. But the fact that they were there anyway, will get out the fans. Secondly, Basil, what big boys are you talking about? Because unless you're talking about only Liverpool and City, there's no other big boy out here that's going to do anything for a title race. I'm sorry, it's not happening. Chelsea are not doing it. Your team, West Brom or Arsenal, they're not doing it either. So,
Leicester.
Oh, and Leicester as well. They're not doing it too. So, honestly, look,
you're not even gonna mention Spurs. Saying this.
Well, I've just seen something. I'm so sorry to go out of topic, but Daniel, this has just came out. Jurgen Klopp has revealed in the Reds' performance against Tottenham, confirming Joel Matip has sustained an ankle ligament injury.
Ooh, that's another defender out. Matip out again.
Again.
Hey. And our owners don't want to sign a centre back. Look, listen. If I get sold on this topic, we'll be here till kingdom come. So Kojo, just continue talking.
Yeah, we're not gonna do transfer window and signings and stuff like that, because we're in the same boat as you, mate.
Yeah. Sorry, don't worry. I'll DM you.
Bare injury coming like a black
it's peak. It's peak.
Yeah, no. At the end of the day, look, I have been just keeping it cool with United because, like I said, we've been here before. The only one time I thought we had a chance of trying to compete for the title, we fumbled in the summer when we didn't back Mourinho the next year. That's as simple as it gets for me. So, look, yes, we are still second, but as for where it goes, look, this league, it's been unpredictable. City are in great form. You never know when they could lose. They will drop points, but will United drop more points? I do believe so. So right now, because City are ahead and they've got that game in hand, I feel like from here it could be curtains for any sort of title race for us or anybody else. Because I've also got a record to say that I don't think City are going to lose another game in the league this year. So it's a big call, but the way they are looking comfortable right now and the way they've sorted out their defense, I just feel like unless they have your sort of luck with injuries at the back out of nowhere, I don't think they're going to drop points. That's the only way I see them dropping points. If Diaz gets injured, then Stones, and then who's the other one? Laporte get injured, then I feel like they're going to have issues. But apart from that, I don't see them dropping points anyway. As for United, look, the team, to be honest, hasn't even got a spine because they don't know whether they want Martial or Cavani. I want Cavani to start as a striker. I don't trust Martial. We've known this for a long time. Martial's time is up, in my humble opinion. If we're still waiting for a 25-year-old man to become the top striker, he ain't going to become the top striker anytime soon. And that's just what it is. So let's see how it goes from here, really. But they deserved everything they got against Sheffield United. That's for certain. They deserved that L. That was an L pending. And they got exactly what they deserved. Nonsense performance. And that second goal, you mentioned it earlier. In fact, you know what? Basil, go somewhere else, man.
Wait, Darren, you said you haven't seen the goal. Please, I beg you, in the name of God, please go watch that second goal. And go back to that scouting thing. United are one of the richest clubs in the world, and the back for Wan-Bissaka 50 million, Maguire 80 million. I don't know how much Terrace cost. If you look at that goal, you're gonna be pulling your head. It was a disgrace. Like I couldn't even throw because it was so bad. Like I knew United fans thought it was that bad, so I'm like, I'm not gonna add my own.
Darren, you know when you go with a kid from school and You're seeing kids play football and they're playing with a group of kids that don't know how to play football, so they just stand there. That's essentially what you're about to
How
see.
bad it was.
That's essentially what you're about to see. It's comical. It's absolutely comical. And the first goal as well, David De Gea, at 29 years old, still can't come clean corners. So forget about it. Just a joke thing in general.
Right,
So
I'm
yeah,
gonna go watch
enjoy the calamity. Enjoy the calamity.
Just
Better
to
watch
wrap
that.
things up. Just to wrap things up. Obviously, we have the huge game on the weekend. Arsenal, the mighty Arsenal versus Manchester United off the back of the defeat.
That's just some shit.
I'm just going to get predictions for that game. Kojo, your prediction for that game?
1-1.
1-1. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we ain't winning and you ain't winning either.
Okay, perfect. Darren, your predictions?
Where is it? At the Scummy Ruts? Oh yeah, it is. It is. Right. I'm going Arsenal 1, Manchester United 2.
God bless you.
Yeah, Man United are beating Arsenal, man. Arsenal are getting gas because they beat Southampton, but you'll revert back to type real soon.
Perfect. Daniel, didn't expect any less from you. Daniel. Prediction.
I think it's gonna be either 2-0 or 3-1 Arsenal. I feel that the way United start games, very slow and lethargic, and I think with the players Arsenal have and the way they've been playing recently, they can put United to the sword in the first 20-25 minutes.
Perfect. And you, Sonny?
I'll go 1-0 Arsenal. I think it's one of those things. United have finished their good run of form now, and it's going to turn around and they'll go a couple games dropping points now.
Perfect. I'm going on a ledge.
Nobody cares, Basil. Nobody cares. Nobody cares because you're going to be blatantly biased, isn't it?
I'm on a ledge. So you click this, ready for when the game ends. Arsenal 3-1, definitely. That's what I'm going.
Definitely. He used the word definitely. Cool.
Definitely.
Don't worry, it's going to get clipped up.
Make sure this is clipped up. I'm confident. 3-1, definitely.
Yeah, so then if what happens is if you don't win 3-1, as if you lose 3-1, it'll be perfect. But Daniel, instead of playing the foot, it says intro, just play that only. And then that's the intro for next week.
Perfect. And also, one thing I also want to add is whoever owns Instagram, I think it's Facebook, and people who are saying that these racist idiots need education. I'm sorry, this needs to stop. What happened with Twanzebe and Martial? Like, these people, they either need to get, okay, let me not say that because I don't want to incite violence, but something needs to happen to them or they need to face jail time, because for me, it's ridiculous. And the reason why I think it's ridiculous is because as soon as that ball went off Twanzebe, I knew that was going to happen. And the fact that it's a certainty
you always
now,
see it, innit?
the fact that it's a certainty now, it's dumb. And people say they need education. You don't need education. If I went and shot someone, am I gonna say, "Oh, I need education"? No. And it's the same with racism. I'm sorry. As soon as racism is taken that seriously, it's never gonna happen. All this kneeling down. I'm sorry. For me, like when I saw that, I was fuming. I was fuming. So I know you wanted to wrap up, but I just thought that needed to be said. That I was fuming.
Yeah. I agree. It's too much now. As soon as a player of any ethnicity or let's just say it, like black players get it hard. We get it hard, and at the end of the day, like it's coming because I didn't see what happened, right? I was like, what's going on? But I kind of figured Tuanzebe's either had a bad game or he scored an own goal or something's been deflected off him. And I'm thinking, you can't be going through that at all, man. And sanctions need to be harder across the board. With FIFA and UEFA and the FA, the sanctions need to be tough. They need to be tough. And the law needs to be tough on these people and the platforms, the Facebooks and the Instagrams of the Twitters of this world. They got to be tough on these people as well, man. Until that happens, we're gonna get this all the time. So it's unfortunate.
which is why I've always talked about these platforms having verification methods where you can, even if it's just a first name and a surname of these individuals. So at least then when these incidents happen, you can post that information to the police. They have the details as to who to go to when it happens.
Yep, immediately.
The fact that they can be anonymous is one of the biggest issues that we have, because
they're always anonymous. That's the problem. They're always anonymous.
Yeah, no, it's a big issue, and like I said, hopefully, in the near future, sanctions can be toughened to try and eradicate this. But anyway, just to wrap up, that's another session of FS Uncut. Thank you very much, guys, for joining. Daniel, where can we find you?
Papilo017. Now that Liverpool have won, I'm going to be a lot more positive. I'm not going to say we're going to go back to back or anything like that. Just one game at a time. West Ham on Sunday, so we move.
Have faith in your team. That's all I'll say. Sonny, yourself. What platforms can we find?
Twitter, you can find me LFC Sonny, YouTube, The Football Addiction. Thank you for having me on. I've enjoyed it. No
worries. Definitely been a pleasure. And Darren, yourself, ran away.
I don't know. Is it? And Darren, like you're so happy. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, me and you are gonna chat, Basil. At Mr. on Twitter at Mr. Darren_T. You can find me. I'm also your friendly neighborhood football intermediary. So anything of that nature, come holler at me.
Perfect. And the ever-present Kojo.
He's stealing Kel's lines. Beautiful podcast. Beautiful podcast. Find us on YouTube and on Twitter and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and what's the other one? SoundCloud. Check out our interview with Steve Eyre, former City coach. Worked with Sturridge, Trippier, amongst others. Young Phil Foden as well. So you hear a story about a young 5 or 6 year old Phil Foden who was already bossing up people. And it's doing it right now. So, yeah, come check it out.
Make sure you tune into that. And you can find us on our usual platforms on Twitter and on Instagram at FS Uncut. Like and subscribe. And thank you very much, guys, for viewing.
Bless.